Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Hi, guys. Welcome to our call about moving from adaptive evolution through to creative or conscious evolution. So I'm going to put in the side, you'll see in the side that there's a little note box that you can actually type in if you wanted to actually do that, and type in the side. So just say a hi in the side if you can just put that there. I am just going to say hi. If you want to actually just say anything or pop anything in, just pop on the side there if you want to say anything. I'm also doing a live on Facebook, so I'll be going between the two. But thanks for being here, guys. Pop behind the side so I can see that you're here, and maybe where you're tuning in from. And we are going to get started in just a minute as we just let everyone join in. Okay, I'm also going to go on my phone so I can see everyone's comments. Thanks for taking the time to join us. This is going to be a really awesome talk. And if you do want a recording of it, I do actually have it as a Facebook Live that's going live now. So again, you guys can tune into that. If you want to take notes, if you want to kind of be super present in what we're talking about, then you can actually just listen in, see how we go. So hi Carla, hi Emma, just dropped one off driving. So we got Lisa, and I know Carla's from, I think, Busso or Cable. And then we got Lisa. So hi girls, nice to see you. So get a pen and paper if you do get a chance to have pen and paper, otherwise you can actually take some notes later on. And let me just bring this up on my phone and we'll get started. So here we go, turn that down. Oh yes, we got Lamola from, I think she's from overseas there. So hey, okay, let's get started. So the concept of adaptative to what we call conscious evolution has actually been designed from a place of pretty much all we do is actually just react to what's going on in our environment. And I've been shown that for us to move forward, it's time for us to start to, now we say take control, but this is actually how we take control, is by actually acting on what's going on and what we're dealing with rather than reacting. So again, if you guys are feeling like that's the thing that you're doing, you're in the perfect place. And if you're sick of actually reacting to the situation, again, pop some notes in, say hi, share what you're thinking and feeling at the moment. But this is the call where I'm sharing literally everything that you can do right now to move from reacting and adapting to situations, having to adapt to situations, and moving into actually being consciously in control and actually creating the life that you want. So I have a spreadsheet that I'm going to bring up in a minute. I'm going to talk through each of the areas of the difference between adaptive evolution and conscious evolution. And really at the end of the day, what we've all been designed to adapt to our environments. I mean, that's just who we are. That's how we've been created. And if you look at history, you know, we have moved from, you know, caveman situations through to where we are now. And the way we have evolved is been through literally reacting to our environment. And our physical bodies have then adapted to what's going on, and then we've physically changed to be able to cope. I don't know about you guys, but who's sick of coping? It's time to move from coping, adapting, putting up with the things that we're dealing with and starting to move into creator and consciously creating. Now, why are we doing this? The main reason why we're doing this is because as an adaptive human being, what's happening is that we're going into a lot of fear. We're going into a lot of lack, a lot of I don't know what I can do, and that's just not really washing with me anymore. So I have received a lot of really cool information that you guys can use to be able to move forward and start creating the life you want. Now, the reason why I've come up with this concept is I've been experimenting with this all year. And I have an amazing group that I've been working with where we have experimented with being the creators and starting to see in the external world how we can affect the external world and our physicality and everything else rather than reacting to it. So I definitely want to share with you all these things that you can do to move from being adapting to situations, coping, struggling, into being the creator and consciously creating. So let me jump in and I'm going to just share my screen with you. And again, it's a spreadsheet that we're going to go through. You'll just be looking at the spreadsheet with me and I will be talking through each one. Again, if you want to make some comments or anything like that, do so. I can see them. Or if you've got any questions, please let me know. So I am going to share my screen now with you. And where are you? There you go. Okie dokie. I might need to make it a bit bigger. And we'll start from, if you guys maybe want to just say that you can see this, I will actually make that quite big so you can see it. I don't know if I can see all the notes now that I'm just looking at this, any comments or anything. So if I don't get to any of your comments, I will get to those later. So adaptation, evolution to conscious evolution. The difference between the two is we have always been adapting to our environment. Conscious evolution is creating our environment. So adaptation evolution is based on our need for survival. It's reacting and adapting to the environment, the circumstances and situations. Conscious evolution is based on the internal, external consciousness. Whatever is going on internally, we will see externally. And we affect the environment rather than the environment affecting us. I don't know about you guys, but who would like to see more of that? Now, it's not some pie in the sky idea. I've been working with this all year and I have seen direct correlations between what we physically do and how we affect the environment. Now, there's lots of scientific concepts out there to prove that this is actually how the world works and how the universe works. I'm super excited that this is actually what we now have a conscious awareness of, because we're not these random victims on a random planet having experiences that we have no effect over. Everything is affected by us. So if we're the ones that are being affecting everything else, we should be starting to own that a little bit more and starting to live that way a bit more. But we need to actually see some evidence of this. And I personally have been playing with this all year. So I've seen lots of evidence of this, and those people in the groups that I've been running have seen lots and lots of evidence of this. But for you guys, you may not have had any evidence of this or seen any evidence of this. So I'm going to show you the difference between the two and then get you guys to play in your own life around how you can see the effect that you have in your environment. Now, I'm just going to start pretty much by saying, for example, you're in a room and someone walks in and they're angry or they're upset or annoyed or whatever. Can you then feel that? And can you see how that actually changes how you feel and your reaction to it? That's a really basic example of how you can affect other people, how other people affect you. So can you imagine if you actually had within yourself peace, calm, joy, love, whatever it is that you actually want to see, freedom within yourself, and then you actually started to be the example of that and lived that way? I want you to experiment with how you affect other people by being that. Now, that's all you need to do through conscious evolution, is actually watch the external change around you being the effector of the environment, rather than the adaptation or adapting, which is I'm going to have to deal with what's put in front of me. No, I'm creating it. So this is where experimentation is a massive part of the work that I do, because these are all concepts and theories that I receive, and then we just play around and act on them. So this is where this actually does work, and I want you guys to have that experience too, of seeing how you affect your environment. So how about you actually make a decision this week to say, I am the one who's going to create the environment that I want to create, and then watch yourself do that. Now, if you go back to adaptative evolution, I'll use my little pointer rather than my finger. You can't see that. So if you are if you're basing your way of being from a place of survival, like fear, anxiety, whatever, if you're reacting to something or trying to adapt to environment, circumstances and situations, you will start to see more external situations that will mirror that, because that's just how the universe works. The universe doesn't give you what you want. The universe doesn't do anything other than align energy with energy. So if you can imagine, right, if you are more from living from an adaptation evolution process, which is, I'm in survival, I don't, I'm in fear, I'm, whatever, the universe just aligns your energy with those experiences or those situations. And not saying that you are creating it or you are attracting it, because that's just the old way of thinking. It's just really the way the universe works. It just aligns energy with energy. It's really not a conspiracy theory or some kind of random scientific concept. It's just how it works. So a really big awareness of when you're in survival is when you are actually in thinking or overthinking. And I will share a little bit more about that as we go along. But that's all based on ego. And ego's job is to keep you safe and in living and surviving. The thing is that what it actually doesn't realize is that you are already surviving, you are already living. And so the more that you come from that place, the less you're going to live in, I am in fear of my life, into I'm now going to live my life. This is, again, switching from adapting to what's coming through into creating through conscious evolution. So this internal, external experience, I'm going to call it, the connection that we have with everything around us, we really need to start to own that. And when we're seeing something external, keep going within ourselves to say, where is this existing within me, and how can I be the creator of what I want to see? For me personally, I used to always, be, oh, that person did that, and this person's annoying me, and this, and it's just like it never really resonated with, what I wanted to be and what I wanted to, how I wanted to affect my own life. And I didn't like being the, what's the word? Affected by all these experiences that just weren't very nice. And so as soon as I had the awareness that I am the one who creates the relationship I want, I am the one that creates the business I want, I'm the one that creates the life that I want. As soon as you say that, and you can make that deal with yourself right now, I'm the one who's affecting this, then you are moving into conscious evolution, and that you'll start to find that the tables turn and you step more into affecting your environment rather than being affected by your environment. Please make that decision today and start to watch, experiment with it, start to watch the external world change around you, because it does. Okay, so adaptation, evolution. So the next step in that is needing to cope, change, cope, deal, or fix a situation. Again, that's what we've always done. I need to change this. I need to cope with it. I need to deal with it. I need to fix it. What we're doing now, moving into conscious or creator evolution, is seeing a situation and realizing the effect we have on the situation, and that the situation is responding to us. So using observation of a situation and going within, understanding the energy links between the internal and the external, and then using quantum physics, which is observation. Observation, to be honest, is one of the most powerful things we can do. And then when we're observing something, the be do have, we're in the being moment of conscious evolution, which is, I'm going to be the observer. Now, when you're in the observer, you're actually not in adaptation evolution. You're not thinking about how am I going to do this or survive this or deal with this. You're just observing with no thought. And that's the most important part, is you're observing it. What then happens is that you start to change what you're seeing. So when you're in observation mode, the external things start to change by what you're looking at. You start to see them quite differently. And then, of course, what happens is you affect the external response. It's just the cause and effect universal law. Now, I have rewritten the universal laws based around my own experiences, which I'll be putting out at some stage soon, but they are just, like, it just proves to me how we are the ones that are in control, and we're the ones that are powerful, rather than the stories that we are stuck or we are lost or we are struggling or whatever. We are powerful, like we're super powerful. And then observation is really the first step in changing a situation. Now, we don't actually have to change it. Observing it actually naturally changes it. It's quantum physics if you want to actually look it up. There's a double slit experiment that they've done scientifically, which proves that when you observe something, the way it reacts to being observed actually changes. And so when something's not observed, it doesn't change. Now, it's a very strange concept and something that is really hard for us to get a handle on. But again, I actually urge you to experiment with it and start to find, you'll start to see a lot of things change when you're in observation mode and you get to really look at it. Now, be careful when you're in coping, changing, dealing, or fixing a situation, which is going back to adaptation, is because the sign that you're going back into adaptation evolution is you'll start to feel bad. Now, your feelings are the most important part in this evolutionary process. So your feelings will always tell you if you're going back to adapting and adaptation evolution. If you have any negative, I'll say negative feelings, bad feelings, those are the things that are telling you that you're going back into it, trying to adapt to a situation, or you're using thinking, you're in survival, anything like that. Your feelings are the key to showing you that you're going back into the old ways of doing things. Now, when you notice that, you can just go, oh, I'm just going back into thinking, trying to survive, trying to cope or deal. And then you just come back to observing again. And you'll find that those feelings will completely disappear. It's crazy. It's that easy. So using your feelings to show when you're observing something, if you're in thinking in survival mode, and shift it into creator mode by literally just observing without thought. And that's the main key here. Now, elements of adaptation evolution is habitual patterns recurring, happening due to reference of using the past to determine our response to the present moment. Now, I was shown this and it actually made a heap of sense. Literally, the way our brains are designed is that whatever has happened in the past, we will then use that as a reference as to how to deal with situations in the current moment. The thing is that the situations we have in our current moment, we've probably not had to deal with before. And so it creates overthinking, which then stops us from getting access to any sense as to what we can do about any situations. And that's why we keep repeating patterns and having habitual behaviors happening, is because we're literally going back into the past and recreating the same things, because that's all the brain knows what to do. It just knows that that's how I dealt with it before, so that's how I'm going to deal with it now. And again, from a fixing, changing, all that sort of thing, you're actually going to see that you're going to keep going into that and not seeing a difference, because, you know, insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. You're not going to see a different result if you're actually going back into the past to use what you did before to deal with a situation. So that is an example of adaptative evolution. To move into conscious or creative evolution, everything naturally changes by itself through awareness and consciousness. Now, as I said, if you're looking at something and you're aware of it and you're consciously focused on what you're seeing without thought, everything naturally changes by itself. You don't actually have to do anything other than be the one who's looking at the thing. Again, through quantum physics, the behavior changes, the thing changes by observing it. It is actually that easy. And again, I urge you guys to experiment with it and play around with it and see actually how you can change this external world simply by just looking at it. I've even been urged to look at the news and just observe it. Look at the things that you don't like and just observe it, and not play the game of, trying to adapt to the situation or react to it and just be the observer of it. It naturally changes. And I've done this with a little bit of an experiment only a couple of weeks ago, where I was told we were going into a lockdown, and everyone said, oh, you need to change that because energetically, I can. And I'm like, no, it doesn't feel right to change it. It doesn't feel right to go into fear about it. I'm literally just going to look at it and see what happens, and nothing happened. And it's like, okay, Kim, so we are really the creators of these experiences. Now, I'm not saying, well, I'm the one who did that. I'm just saying that that was the example that I now have to anchor into my own mind that this actually works, is through just literally looking at it, being aware of it. And if more people can talk about these things, which is great, everyone is talking about things, but don't go into fear about them. Just look at them and go, yep, I can see that. But don't go into overthinking about it or stress about it or anything like that. You just look at it, and what should actually naturally change? Again, I urge you to experiment with it and see what happens. Another element of adaptation evolution is using adversity and suffering to facilitate awareness, learning, and growth. It's kind of what we've always been doing. Something goes wrong and whatever, we've got to try and work it out, try and fix it. And then we naturally evolve and change through adversity and suffering. And then we learn and grow from it. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm done with that. So I'm choosing growth. I choose to work on myself every day. I choose to learn more every day. So I don't need adversity and suffering to facilitate my own growth. Choosing growth naturally by seeing everything as a lesson and learning rather than needing something to facilitate growth. And also seeing things as bad or wrong just takes you back to the suffering and the adversity. Whereas if anything turns up and you go, cool, what can I get from this? What can I learn from that? You're choosing growth every time. And again, what happens is it naturally changes because you have, like, that's what you've done. You've not gone back into this is hard or whatever. And then what happens is that you then go into the patterns of, I'm going to do the same thing I've always done, and that doesn't work. And you can see the insanity of it all really at the end of the day. So choose growth, choose the lessons, choose the learning. I remember years ago, I got the guidance, the universe said, ask for everything bad to happen to you right now because you can deal with it. And I'm like, no, that's so scary. That's so hard. And it's like, no, do it. And I remember, like, at that stage, everything just started to stop when I was going, oh no, it's too hard. Oh no, I can't deal with that. I don't want everything bad to happen to me right now. And so then things started not working out, and things started to get hard. And so I'm just like, I just surrendered, and I just, fine. And I said, okay, universe, give me everything that I need right now, and then I will somehow deal with it. I'm going to trust you that this exercise is going to work. And then literally nothing happened. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, what's the deal with this? And I was shown again, what you resist persists. So if you have resistance over anything, you will then start to see it come into your life. If you don't want something, if you say you don't like it, if it's wrong or bad or whatever, it'll keep showing up. But the thing is, if you say bring it on, nothing actually happens. And again, that's through my own experience. I urge you to experiment with that because it's actually quite funny. I had little giggles going on in the ethers there by saying, there's nothing to worry about. It's so funny. Okay, adaptation, evolution. You experience feeling bad ups and downs of emotions, bad, wrong, blah, blah, blah. Through conscious evolution, we experience awareness of emotions as messages and signs of unconsciousness. Now, as I was saying before, your emotions are super powerful messages and signs to say when you are in thinking. So the thing is, can you imagine that if you're consciously aware of your feelings all the time and you're not resisting them, again, what you resist persists. Like, when are we going to learn this, right? If you're then aware that those feelings are there to help you and they're there to show you when you're in unconsciousness, then what happens is that pretty much most of the time you're pretty level-headed, level feelings. It's like you don't have the ups and downs all the time because when you notice that there is a feeling that comes up, it's going, you've gone into unconsciousness again. And then all you need to do is go, oh, I must be thinking, or I must be in unconsciousness. And as soon as you say that, the feeling actually goes and you're back to level again. You're back to neutrality. You're back to clear, calm, and peace within you. And it takes a second to have the awareness of that. So use your emotions. If you're sick of the feelings of ups and downs, the bad, the wrongs, the blah, 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 start to experiment with using your emotions as a message and a sign that you've gone into unconsciousness. And then you go, oh, I've just gone into unconsciousness. What actually happens straight away is you come into the current moment and then you're back to being and doing again. And then again, as we know, you will start to see the external world start to react to your shift in consciousness. Use your feelings, please. Every time someone says to me, oh, I'm feeling this and feeling that, I'm like, it's just thinking. I know Vidge is here. Hello, darling. You've heard this a million times.
Hello. I'm just in my bed.
No, it's have you heard this a million times?
I know. I need to hear this today also.
It's important, right? We do need to keep being reminded. But I have found keeping this difference between adaptation or conscious, it's like I know the difference now, and this hopefully is showing the difference between the two. So yeah, super cool, right?
Yeah. That's why I'm just laughing. I said I was just like talking to you, and I was like, yeah, now I know why I'm feeling this way.
Yeah, and as soon as
thank you.
As soon as you say to yourself, oh, I'm just thinking, or oh, I'm just going into unconsciousness, how do you feel when you realize that?
I mean, I just said it and I texted you back saying that it is just like total absolute silence. And I was like, oh my God, what to do with that silence, I was like, literally, it's like no thinking what to do with this now.
And even the what to do with the silence. I mean, who wants silence? Everyone wants silence, but then the head goes, what to do with it? It's like, that's more thinking. It's actually so funny to watch, but we do need to have a bit of a giggle and a bit of a laugh with it. So thanks for tuning in and jumping in. I know it's a bit late where you are. So
no, I'll just stay here till you finish. So it's really important, incredibly important to kind of remind ourselves. I mean, within like that few seconds, my giggle came up. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for being here. And also thank you for sharing your experiences with everyone, because it is very, very powerful. So keep sharing, as I always say, keep sharing your experiences, because this is a thing, right?
Yeah. We'll go there one day.
Yeah.
With you.
We are here.
Okay, I'll just now shut up and I'll let you talk.
No worries.
Thank you.
Thanks for jumping in. So feelings, again, please be super aware of feelings. The next thing is thinking and thought is a really big part of adaptative evolution, because we've had to think our way out of situations. We're trying to think about what to do, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, there's a lot of mental health issues these days. I've constantly looked into mental health, and I've always been shown that we're just meant for a different way. Again, we're meant to evolve through it. So if we're stuck with mental health, it means that we're stuck in adaptative consciousness or adaptative evolution. Like we're being guided to move into something else. And again, I've been playing with a lot of people around all these different processes. And this does take a lot of training, this section. It's not as easy as saying, oh, you just do this. This actually takes a lot of training. We're moving from thinking and thought into listening, observing. Already, I don't know about you, but I feel so much calmer just saying this, from thinking to thought into listening, observing, receiving. Because again, when you're observing something, you're constantly receiving guidance. It's super cool. And if you ever do want to expand those areas of spiritual work or receiving guidance or channeling or anything like that, listening and observing is the first step. And thinking and thought, if thinking and thought is there, you won't get access to the other. So it just is. But then moving into the feelings. So remember, the feelings are the most important thing, but also feelings hold information. So we've got information from the ethers, from collective consciousness. We've got information from guides, spirits, whoever else wants to talk to us, universe. And then the feeling is actually something, it's like intuition. So, and it's funny when you actually have a feeling, an intuitive feeling, it's not the bad feelings that you get. So say, for example, you know, oh, I feel bad about that, I must be getting an intuitive sign or guidance. Actually, that's just thinking. An intuitive feeling actually has information for you. So it actually doesn't feel like anything at all. It actually has, again, it takes practice, and that's what I teach. So it's like, you've got to actually play around with how to get access to information from feelings, and playing around with that and using those intuitive feelings, which is not really a feeling at all. It's more of a sensing, if I can explain that. If you're purely using your intuitive senses and feelings, you're actually not going to be feeling bad ever at all. There's none of those feeling bads coming through. So the process is listening, observing, receiving, feeling, and senses, which are guiding you. And we've got all of these. These are our 5 senses, right? Listening, observing, receiving, feeling, and senses, which help us on our pathway, which I say to myself whenever we're in this, how do we ever have time to think and try and think of what the answer is when we've got so much information here? And we're always, when you're in listening, observing, receiving, feeling, and senses, you're getting so much information coming through, that it's magical. Like, the information that comes through for you is something you could never think. And if you look at some of the most powerful and amazing influences in our history, who have created the most amazing inventions and so forth, I can guarantee you they never thought them. They actually received them. And if you, like, I know I've studied a lot of them go, oh, it just came to me while I was going for a walk, or it just, that is the receiving, guys. If we want new information, you're never, ever going to think it, because your head, the thinking is just going to go into that computer in your head, which only knows what you've put into it or what's been put into it. If you want new information, you have to receive it. And it's only through listening, observing, receiving, and feeling into it that you will get access to that. So moving forward, if we're wanting to do things differently, thinking's never going to do it. But the great thing is that if we're ever in thinking, our feelings will tell us. So it's super cool. Then going into adaptation evolution is literally, we have unconscious and subconscious experiences. And I think I'm talking to everyone here when we're aware of unconscious and subconscious experiences. It's a thing where you say, I don't know why that happened, or why did that happen to me, and why is this happening? That's telling you that you are actually having unconscious and subconscious experiences, especially when the same thing keeps happening and you can't do anything about it. That's the subconscious running the show. Moving into conscious evolution, we actually have awareness and observation from the big picture. So we know we're affecting everything that's happening. So then we're actually just in creation mode constantly. So we can never be in the whole, why did that happen or whatever. And as we learned earlier, we learn from everything that comes through anyway. So nothing's really a big deal. It's super cool. Adaptation, evolution is being forced to move or change, very similar to needing adversity or struggle to change, when conscious evolution is choosing to move and change. Adaptative evolution is the belief of hopeless, weak, helpless, blah, blah, blah. Conscious evolution is access to innate, natural superhuman abilities. I've been teaching superhuman this year. Superhuman abilities are not strange or weird. They are natural things that we all have. We just didn't know we actually had access to them, but we actually do. And the more we move out of the thinking processes and into tuning into these abilities that we all naturally have, the more you get access to. So, which proves to you that really you're not really hopeless, weak, or helpless. And in fact, if you're the creator of what you want to experience, then how can you ever be in that, which is super cool. Things are happening to me, things are happening for me. Again, very different energy. I think I might just done that, so that's cool. See, something just happened. I just thought something, and I went to do it, and it naturally happened by itself. Great example. I wanted that door closed, and it naturally closed by itself. Superhuman abilities. So weird.
That's really spooky.
That is spooky, but it's happening. So we can't say that it's not. I'm even going, Oh, wow. Look at the process, guys. Look at the process. Oh, funny, funny, funny. Doing the same thing to deal with issues, doing something different to get a different result. We have to keep doing this. Unconscious, which is not aware, to conscious aware. Very different processes. Things are hard and difficult when you're unconscious. Things seem easier when you're conscious. Again, it's the feeling that's going to show you if you're unconscious or conscious. It'll feel hard when you're in unconsciousness. It'll feel easier when you're in consciousness. Now, this is really interesting, especially for those who've been doing the work with me for a little bit, and then they want to actually start to share this work out with everyone, is I don't want to be a coach. I don't want to teach this. I don't want to do anything. And that's like, well, teaching, telling, or coaching is actually, I'll call it all paradigm, but really it's again, what I've been shown. This is all guided information. So I've been shown that's just another way of doing it. But what I found is more powerful from a consciousness level is being the example and sharing experiences. People learn by being the example and sharing experiences. And that's why I super love telling stories and things that just happen naturally by themselves. It's super cool to share them because it's exciting, right? But of course, other people benefit from it. And I'm not telling you, teaching or coaching anything. It's like I'm just sharing my experiences, and then naturally you'll pick that up. And I love that way of, I don't know, change. Is just by everyone kind of learning together, sharing experiences together, but also gets super exciting when everyone starts to have really fun experiences through doing this work. So it's super cool. Adaptation, evolution is reaction, as I've talked about. Conscious evolution is creation. Adaptation is fear, anxiety, stress, and overwhelm, because of course that's the feelings that come up through reacting. In consciousness, you have clear, peaceful, interested, curious. That's how we tend to live most of the time. And then super aware. Again, if any of the fear, anxiety, stress, or overwhelm comes up, we just go, oh, I must be thinking, and in unconsciousness. And then you come back instantly. It's very quick and easy. Adaptation is no choice. Consciousness is constant choice. I don't know to I always know somehow, because you'll get access to that information. Adaptation always goes to past and future. What can we do, or what did we do? And I mean, you guys can see that in your own life. What did we do about this? Let's do that again. Well, no, you're just recreating it. Or what can we do? Which then puts you into, I don't really know how I can affect this future. It's because the current and present moment is the only time that you can do anything. And that's conscious evolution. It's like right now, and the more you go deeper into the depths of the current and present moment, you start to see actually how deep the current and present moment really is. And you just wonder how you could even have thought about past or future when there's so much going on right now. But you can imagine when you've got so much information in the right now, and you get to see everything and tune into everything and experience everything, that you then can do something about it. And again, the universe just aligns energy with energy. So the more experiences you're going to have in each current moment of being able to do something, it just is. It's just how it works. Now, again, adaptative is from a human perspective, whereas conscious is from a soul universal perspective. It's like seeing things from this is how we see it here to this is how we see this bigger picture. I think one of the biggest things that we're trying to work out now and dealing with is how do we bring this soul universal perspective into the human perspective? Well, the way I can see it is through evolution. Choosing to actually bring that perspective in, and then knowing we're the creators. And so again, whatever this soul universal perspective is that we can see, which when you tune into that, you can see a lot more, will help our human perspective be very similar. So we'll start to see things very, very similar. And I don't know about you guys, but I've seen that people who tune more into the universal or soul perspective, they all have a similar story. Whereas the human perspective, everyone's got a different story. And this is where arguments or fighting, or, I can only see it from that way or the way that I see it. Whereas I'm finding that everyone who gets to tune into this soul or universal perspective, they're actually seeing things the same way. And I just don't think that that's a coincidence that from a soul or universal perspective, we're all seeing the same things. Whereas the human perspective, we all see them differently. Again, if we're going to try and affect this external reality, which one's going to help us more? And I don't know, soul universal perspective always works for me. It also puts you into the bigger picture of what we can do. Human perspective is like, I don't know if I can do anything. I don't know what I can do. I don't know how I can affect it. I don't know how I can change it. And again, we just spiral. So we've got to start moving from adapting to situations from the human perspective, and then we start to see it from a soul universal perspective. Then we start creating experiences as to what we want. Adaptative is being on high alert and prepared. It's the perfect survival mechanism. To being relaxed and trusting, I kind of, when I do that, I look at, say, for example, a cat. You know, a cat's a really great example of how you can be relaxed, but also like super aware. And so you, instead of being on high alert and prepared, you can be relaxed and in trust, but you're actually aware at the same time. So it's not that you're on that fight or flight pathway where you have to be on high alert. If you need to act on something that happens, you're actually super aware and you can act a lot quicker than if you're in constant high alert. And again, this is why a lot of us have, you know, thyroid issues and nervous system, you know, issues, is because being on a constant high alert, our bodies just can't deal with it. Whereas when you're actually relaxed and you trust the process, but then in awareness, you can deal with anything that comes up, but you're not actually overworking that inner nervous system that, you know, needs a bit of a break every now and then. We take learnings from the past in the adaptative, and we create new learnings from the present moment. Again, there's so much depth in the present moment. Worry and lack of control, moving into knowing we are always in control. Blaming and projecting awareness to others. Like someone actually said to me, oh, you know, what happens if someone gets upset or annoyed or whatever? It's like, just knowing that they're upset or annoyed within themselves, and that the natural way to deal with it is to project it to make people feel better. Whereas if we know others and situations are somehow facilitating for us to go within and realizing our own inner power, we don't project it. We know that it's totally up to us and that we can actually facilitate that. This was a really cool thing that came through last week. Needing money and things to create. Because again, like if we want to create something, we need money to do that and things. Whereas the conscious evolution is saying that once we create, then we receive money and things. Again, that's been my experience. So it's again a big shift from one to the other. Adaptative is uncertainty and fear of the unknown, whereas being the creator, we are always creating our future in the now, so we can never be uncertain of what is going to happen, as we are creating what will happen, and hence the unknown doesn't exist. That makes sense. Then the adaptative was saying, who am I? What do I do? What is my identity? I don't really know. Through to I am who I am in each moment, whatever that wants to be. So it's like there is a lot of, you know, even, you know, boy, girl to my name. There is a history tribal thing where it's like they don't actually use their names as to who they actually are. It's like I'm having the experience of that person. So for example, for me, they add ing at the end, so I'm Kimming, or the tree is treeing, or the plant is planting, or you are having the experience of you, because it's not, your name is not who you are. Your title is not who you are, boy, girl, whatever. It's your experience. Jean-Marie's just said the I am. Well, yeah. You're having the experience of that person. You're, you know, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a student, whether you're a whatever, you're having the experience of that, but that's not who you are. And what happens when we have identity? And identity is a really big part of the adaptative, because it actually helps you to react to situations from who you are. But what I'm finding is that still in adaptative consciousness or evolution, we don't still know who we are, because the identity doesn't really give us any essence of who we are. And again, what happens if that identity is taken away from us? There is pain and suffering. Again, it's just all the reactive mode. Whereas if you're in conscious evolution, which is I am who I am in each moment, like right now, all I'm doing is talking to you. I'm not going to put a label on what that is or what I'm doing or anything like that. I'm just being this and having fun sharing this. And it's whatever it wants to be. So again, if you gave yourself that freedom to not have to say, well, this is who I am, this is what I do, blah, blah, blah. You go, well, whatever I want to do in each moment. We then say, well, what about people around us? They need to know who we are or what we do. Well, the thing is that, again, when we actually turn up being whatever we want to be in each moment, it gives everyone else the permission to do that as well. And that we're no longer stuck. We don't need the labels. We don't need an identity. And the ego hates that because it needs identity for survival. But the thing is, we exist. We're still here having a great chat. And so it's proving that we don't really need the identity to say who we are. We can be whatever we are in each moment, and that gives you the flexibility to have lots of different life experiences rather than one that you think you have to have. I hope that makes sense. So in adaptative, people are their behavior. You've done something wrong, you're bad, you shouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. Again, what it creates within a person is it creates resistance to that behavior. And then what happens with resistance, what you resist persists. So you keep doing the same thing, even though it's wrong and bad. I mean, I don't know about you, but who's had that experience, right? But when we actually say, and we can say it to ourselves first, it's not who I am, it's just the behavior. Again, you're not putting your identity as being bad or wrong, which, to be honest, 99.9% of humanity has those labels of bad or wrong, and then they're constantly trying to not be that. Whether it's people pleasing, whether it's, again, doing the wrong thing and continually doing the wrong thing, and then hating themselves even more, which you can see the downward spiral in our behavior is then linked to our identity as to who I am. And in most cases, if we don't want it, we'll continually try and do something different, and then we lose who we are. And that's why we question, who am I, when I don't even know, because I'm constantly trying not to be the person that I think I am. I love talking riddles, it's crazy. But when you actually say, well, I've just done that, oh well, you move on, and it's that quick and easy. Whereas you could be stuck with behavior for the whole life, and it's just behavior, it's nothing. That's the difference really between those two. Don't make your behavior who you are, but don't make other people's behavior who they are. And watch yourself when someone does something, watch yourself go, oh, well, they're this and this, that, and then stop and go, actually, no, that was just their behavior. I know who they are. They're actually really beautiful people. And guess how they'll turn up to you as being the creator or being in the conscious evolution. People start to change their relationship with you. They start to turn up differently because you're not labeling them as their behavior. It's really, really interesting. So say, for example, you are in a relationship or you do have a friendship or whatever, and people keep turning up, you know, as being annoying or frustrating or whatever. Again, their feelings, which are telling you that there's thought linked to it. So when you tune in and go, well, I'm linking their behavior to who they are, but I know deep down inside that their behavior is, you know, maybe again from pain or projection or whatever, you can then actually go, no, that's not who they are. I know who they are. And you watch those people change to you. And that then again proves to me that we are the creators of our own experiences. Because if you want people to turn up differently in your life, stop labeling them and stop actually linking them with their behavior, including yourself. Start with yourself, because it's not who you are, it's just behavior. It's not who they are, that's just behavior. And the world will start to change very quickly once we start to act from that place, because most of us in adaptative evolution is actually labeling people as bad or wrong, putting them away, and what you resist persists, it continues on and it gets worse. So again, experiment. I always say experiment with it and try it. But what I found is that people start to turn up differently, and then they are different, which proves to you that you are the creator in your life. And then, of course, adaptative evolution, the behavior is due to pain, lack, thinking, or overthinking and coping. What I found through conscious evolution and the consciousness is because we aren't projecting, because we aren't coping, because we aren't struggling, all our behavior just comes from love. And again, the more our behavior comes from love, the more we're going to actually see that love in the external world, because we are the ones that are creating this. So this is a really, I call it basic, but it is quite a basic little breakdown of the two evolutions. I've been studying evolution most of the year and then also playing around with all of these. I will, if anyone wants a copy of this, I'll put it actually in my group, which is called Evolving with the Universe. It's a free group. If you're not in there, jump in there or message me and I will give you a link to join that group. I will have this document in the Evolving with the Universe group, and you can always get access to it. You can use it. I think it's actually quite beneficial to kind of print it off and stick it on your wall and always remember, okay, which one? And I've found by saying, which one am I acting from here? Which one am I actually acting from, adaptation or conscious? And you'll find you instantly go back to conscious evolution every time. What I'm currently working on at the moment is how we can change our bodies from adapting. I mean, think about with your bodies are actually, you know, if you want to train for a marathon, it needs to adapt to get there. Well, I'm dealing with consciousness and conscious evolution. How can our bodies not only deal with, you know, physical stamina and not have to adapt to situations, but also adapting and reacting to illnesses, disease, all that sort of thing. I've got some new information around all of that, which I am playing around with. I will never put anything out there unless I've had extensive research. I do all my research by myself and do lots of case studies until this stuff is proven. Now, this stuff that I'm teaching today, sharing today, not teaching, is proven, and it has been proven for a while now that this stuff actually works, which is why I'm sharing that with you now. And then, as you can see, a lot of this actually takes quite a bit of practice to move from one to the other. So what I have actually done is I've set up another group. It's a membership group, which it has daily work. So the first day on Mondays, we've just had that Monday call. Yes, Vidya, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say that who knows this work more than me, because it's been, oh my goodness, it's been literally 5-6 years I'm working with you. And I mean, I'm experimenting, you know, and I'm being part of your experimentation as well. And I am going to, I'm just thinking of printing it out and, you know, putting it here, because what I was just putting out there just before starting this live, I can see that it was all from adaptive evaluation.
Wow.
And I've been talking to you and I said that I know that it is, but it sounds again egoistic thinking like, hey, I know that, you know, but then what to do when you know, that's more important. So I was just literally thinking like, I'm going to, you know, print that out and put it in front of me all the time and just remind myself. So this work is really incredible, and I cannot thank to you that, I mean, I have experienced it. You have been researching on it, and I think I have become a guinea pig for you. And we did it
You've
together.
been a beautiful guinea pig and you've done so well.
I know.
It's definitely, you know, again, thank you to you for helping me research this and study it, because it's really amazing. And again, as you said, like, to see the difference and to know what to do. Like, this is a great reference, this spreadsheet, to say, which one am I in right now?
Yeah. So it's really an incredible journey, and I can see the peace behind, you know, working it out, and I mean, letting myself free actually. And I'm at that stage now where I just need that constant reminder from myself, and I'm doing that. But the teacher like you, it's hard to find.
You're so beautiful. Well, this is again why.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. This is also why I am teaching people to do this.
I know. Everyone must, you know, must take this seriously. I mean, it's just like a small, a few like very minute changes, very, very subtle changes, but then somebody is there to remind you to do the work. It's really incredible, because it's very, quite often it becomes as a habitual, like adaptive evaluation, it's a habitual.
Yeah, well, it is,
And
and I mean
conscious evaluation is, yeah.
That's the definition of adaptative, is it's habitual. So but I like how you said,
Yeah.
you know, it is good to have the reminders. So I actually do have a couple of different groups that people can hang out in if you want reminders. So the first one is, I've got the Evolving with the Universe, which is a free group. If anyone wants the link, I'll probably you know, put them somewhere, probably on my personal page. I'll put the links to my person, like the free group, which is Evolving with the Universe, where I put bits and pieces in there. But then the next one is my membership, which is Highly Evolving Beings, because we are always evolving. And that is daily work. Now I say work, but it's super fun. So Mondays is manifesting. So we manifest on Mondays. Tuesdays we do experiments, and that's experimenting on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, now I'm just going off the top of my head, so I've got to try and remember. Wednesdays is channeling and automatic writing. So getting information from the universe or from the esoteric people out there, entities or whatever. Thursdays is yoga, journaling, and movement and, you know, connection. And then Fridays is a spiritual book club, where every week, at the moment, we're doing Destinies of Souls, which is a book that has been written by a hypnotherapist called Michael Newton, and he hypnotizes people and takes them into the in-between life and talks to them about, you know, the awarenesses about their past lives, around this life, what their learning is, and that creates the most amazing discussions in that group. So we that book club is so beautiful. That happens on a Friday, and then on the weekend we have spiritual movies. So it's every day we're doing something to keep on track. So that's called Highly Evolving Beings. It is a membership. Now usually it's $111 a month, but I'm offering it before September, so for the next day or so, for $55 a month, if anyone wants to join that group. Now, some of them are calls, some of them are just work in the group. It's a Facebook group, and those people who can't join the calls can always access the recordings because they're all in the group. So you can always listen in wherever you are, but there's such good conversations that happen there. So Vidya, is there something else you wanted to say?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to join every single thing, whatever you do, because it's so fun.
It is super
And I
fun.
love,
Yeah,
I love evolving with
just,
you. So
oh, thank you. Well, what I'll
it's
do is
fun.
I'll share the link for everyone to get that special. It's 50% off. It's, you know, only $55 a month. So I'll give everyone the link for that. But again, like, you can do the work every day, or you don't have to. You can just tune in whenever you need, like a little retune. But for me personally, I'm there every day, and we're doing the work every day. And the conversations, the information, but just keeping on that level and having the reminders. I mean, really, I think I set it up for myself, and that we're all just hanging out and sharing all our awarenesses, and the growth that we have together is super important. So again, the sharing and the experiences is the most important part to this evolution process. And then moving on further, you know, the work is going to be touching on, again, more physical, you know, how this physical body can actually evolve with us, because we're evolving consciously and we're getting a control of this head and these emotions. But let's move into other places as well. And so for now, you've got lots of resources, and I do want everyone to use resources. You will have, and you've got that document to know the difference where you're at, and to see the difference between whether you're just adapting and reacting, or if you're actually creating and being conscious. You'll see the difference, and you can play around with that. If you want to play around my free group, that is Evolving with the Universe, which I share lots of fun things there, again, to keep us all focused. But again, if you want to do the daily work, I mean, God, the manifesting call, the class is so fun. Experimenting class is so fun. Then you've got the yoga, you've got the we have channeling, got the book club, we've got movies and movie reviews and stuff, all spiritual. There's like so many messages and signs and things that we can learn, and we continue to learn, but keeps us so focused. So I will put all those links into onto my private page underneath this, and whoever wants to join us can join us. But thank you everyone else for joining here today. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Vidya, for actually sharing your experiences with some of this work.
Yeah, thank you so much. I look forward to everything. Sounds fun to me, all 5 days. And as I said, I didn't know what to do with my free time now. I know one thing to do.
I will keep you
Hanging with
busy.
Kim.
Yeah.
I
Hang with
would love
me.
to do that.
Yeah. Oh, I'd
Yeah.
love you to hang with me. So, and anyone else wants to hang with me, hang out. The group is actually beautiful. Oh, Emma, she wants to join too. So that's perfect. Just it's, I don't know if you get the sense of the feeling that this creates, but to carry it on every day, it's just beautiful, and to have that reminder. And can I say, I'm not perfect either. I need the reminders as well. So that's why we do it together. Again, it's more about sharing experiences rather than me teaching this. Yes, I get information, but I share it instantly for us to play around and experiment with it. Like, and I say experiment with it. Yes, in my highly evolving beings, we experiment with stuff formally, if you want to call it that, but also we share. What happens is that we share the experiences of what we're seeing through the work that we're doing. And what it does is it anchors in more trust and belief in the work as well, so that you can actually see that, yes, it does work, and you can start going more down your conscious pathway rather than, again, being reacting and adapting. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not doing that anymore. And this is so much more fun, as you said, Vidya. It's all about the fun. I do believe as conscious beings and people incarnating right now during the ascension process, I do believe that we are now allowed to be on this planet and have fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I've also done with the reacting and responding, but because of you, I just get that reminder, whenever I connect with you, like if I'm reacting or responding,
yeah,
I get the reminder.
Also, you get the feeling. The feeling will always
Yeah.
be there. I think also, if you do struggle with feelings, to be super aware that they're there for a reason, to tell you when you're in reacting and adapting, and you want to move. I mean, the feelings are there to say, no, this isn't working anymore, and that's why everyone's struggling with it. So I think the more that this gets out there, the more people can have more control over their lives and start to really, again, just have a great time and experience it. But the great thing about these groups is that you've got like-minded people there. You can share at any time, and anyone's there to remind you of the work or anything, especially if I'm asleep. But to be able to see each other every day, have these great chats, we definitely go down the deeper universal rabbit hole of consciousness, and it's never ending. I have been shown that as humans, we have access to 6 levels of consciousness, and most of us are operating around 1 or 2. So I'm super excited for us to move into these other areas of consciousness. And then once we get there, guess what? It expands to 12 levels of consciousness, and then it's going to expand to 24 levels of consciousness. Now, I am so excited to be a human on a planet right now, because this is so exciting that we get access to more. And that's what we're here to do. I think we're here to experience ourselves as different on this planet now, rather than just repeating the same old things. So I will put more information. I will put a document for you guys to print out. I will give you the links to the free group and to the membership. And then I'm just going to continue sharing and just having fun with you guys. And again, reach out, or thanks, Lisa. Nice to see you. And let's just have fun here, guys, because really, as humans on this planet, I know it's tough times, but I want you to experiment in your own little world and start to see the changes you can make in your own little world. And you know what? If more of us do that, do you think that we're going to see bigger changes in the bigger picture? I do. So
Can I just add something, Kim, which is, I think, really, really important, people who are listening. This work
thanks, Vicky.
isn't that we don't feel anything, but this work is, we feel the feelings, but we don't stay in that feeling. And that's amazing. I mean, that for me is like I'm unlocking that cage, like rather than staying in that emotion forever, like for a day, 2, or maybe a couple of hours, or kind of walking and talking and behaving through that emotion. Now I quickly recognize that, and I know that it is there, but I don't do behavior or reaction or whatever it is through that emotion. That's awesome. That's, for me, it's like top. And then in a couple of sessions we have experimented these consciousness levels of consciousness, and that was amazing also. I mean, I can always experiment with that, and it really gives that state of my mind, like without feeling, without thinking what it is,
Yeah.
So
I know so many times you've messaged me and said, oh, this feeling came up, and, then it linked to the thoughts. And then I just had a bit of a giggle because I realized that was what was happening. And it's so beautiful. You see something bad happening and then you have a giggle because it's just,
yeah,
what it's all about. So
yeah,
it's so precious. And you know what, to be honest, I'm just so grateful. Thanks, Carla. I'm just so grateful to have everyone hang out with me, because to be honest, if we were meant to do it on our own, we would have incarnated on our own and nowhere together. And to be honest, to have fun with everyone is the most important thing, because really, again, that's why I think we're here. So thank you for hanging out with me, guys. And thanks, Vidya, for all your input and comments and everything
thank you, darling.
else.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and again, you can't get rid of me that easy. I'm going to keep popping up. But again, if you want to join me more on an everyday basis and incorporate some more learnings and things, I'll pop you through all the links and so forth. But if anything, if you can print this out, pop it on your wall, it's a great reminder. And remember, just have fun, because that's why we're here. Okay, love you guys. Mwah. Take care.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye, Kim.
Bye.
Bye.